You don't control the world. You don't control what happens. You don't control other people. But according to Epictetus, none of that matters because the only thing that's ever really yours is your own mind. And once you've got that on lock, you become untouchable. Epictetus started life as a literal slave, and by the time he died, Roman nobles were quoting him like scripture.
He didn't want comfort. He didn't care about followers. He wanted freedom, and he knew where it actually came from. Today we dig into his philosophy, the cold, clear Stoicism that's been forgotten by weak men.
And why it might be exactly what you need to build clarity, power, and peace in a collapsing world. Welcome to The Great Conversation, a channel about thinkers who shape the world and the ideas that still hold the line. This series brings you the boldest minds in history, from ancient masters to modern rebels, one book at a time. No fluff, no gatekeeping, just the raw power of ideas that refuse to die. Epictetus was born around 55 AD in the Roman Empire. He didn't come from wealth. He didn't study in ivory towers. He was property, a slave in Nero's household. His name literally means acquired. And depending on the version of the story, his master broke his leg or crippled him intentionally. He walked with a limp the rest of his life. But he studied Stoicism under a philosopher named Musonius Rufus. And when he was eventually freed, he opened a philosophy school of his own. No books, no lectures, just conversations. Deep, hard, demanding conversations with the young men of Rome. He didn't write anything down. Everything we have comes from his student, Arrian, who copied his teachings into two works, the Discourses and the Enchiridion, Greek for the Handbook. And that's exactly what it is. Not a treatise, not a theory, but a manual, a toolkit, a philosophy for life under pressure. In the very first line of the handbook, you get punched in the mouth. Some things are up to us, and some things are not. That's the backbone of Stoicism, the line in the sand. You can control your thoughts, your choices, your reactions. Everything else, your health, your body, your income, your reputation, your relationships, you can influence, but not control. And most of the suffering we experience comes from trying to reverse that. You don't control your girlfriend's mood. You don't control whether your startup fails. You don't control whether your enemies slander you. But what you could do control is your response, your framing, your internal state. And if you get that locked down, the world can't touch you. Epictetus says, it's not things that upset us, but our judgments about things. That's an earthquake of a sentence. Most men today are ruled by reactivity.
You read a tweet, you get triggered. A girl ghosts you, you spiral. Your boss disrespects you, you rage. You've given up your agency without even noticing. Epictetus says, take it back.
That's where freedom begins. Epictetus doesn't believe in comfort culture. He doesn't believe in therapy speak or soft ego strokes. He believes in building strength through friction. Difficulties show a man's character, he writes. So when trouble comes, think of it as training. In other words, the obstacle isn't ruining your life, it's revealing your readiness. You want calm? Life will throw you chaos. You want strength? Life will throw you weakness. You want peace? Life will tempt you with noise. Epictetus doesn't call that bad luck. He calls that school. That's where men are made. You don't become free by avoiding pain. You become free by enduring it with clarity and never letting it corrupt your character. No man is free who is not master of himself. Look around you. The culture is hooked on comfort, dopamine loops, distraction, outrage, validation. Everyone wants to be heard. Everyone wants to be seen. Nobody wants to be responsible for their own mind. Epictetus would laugh and then tell you to sit up straight and shut up. Because real power doesn't come from being loud. It comes from being rooted. You don't flinch when insulted. You don't panic when plans fail. You don't crumble when a woman rejects you. You stand, you breathe, you move on. That's Stoicism, not emotionlessness, but command. He says, when you are offended at any man's fault, turn to yourself and study your own failings. Then you will forget your anger. That's not weakness. That's a man saying, I'm not letting you hijack my soul. A lot of modern Stoicism quotes Marcus Aurelius, and his book Meditations is everywhere. And for good reason. It's wise, deep, human. But Marcus is reflective. Epictetus is ruthless. Marcus was an emperor wrestling with the weight of the world. Epictetus was a former slave who had already let go of it. Marcus talks to himself. Epictetus talks to you. Don't explain your philosophy, he says. Embody it. That's the energy. No Instagram quotes, no Stoic branding, just practice. If your version of Stoicism is just journaling and drinking tea, you've missed the point. Epictetus is for men who want to be dangerous, but in control. Powerful, but principled. Calm, not because the world is quiet, but because your internal compass never shakes. When your woman leaves you, when your friend betrays you, when your body falls, when the world laughs, Epictetus is the voice that says, so what? Stand up. That was never yours. It's not indifference, it's focus. He tells us, if you want to improve, be content to be thought foolish and stupid. If you're not willing to be hated, then you're probably not ready to be free. Epictetus didn't leave behind cathedrals or conquests. What he left was a kind of code, a razor blade of a philosophy, clean, sharp, and hard to misuse. If you want to build a life of clarity, resilience, and command, this isn't optional reading. It's survival training. This is The Great Conversation. And every week, we're pulling one more timeless mind out of the noise, dusting it off, and using it to sharpen ourselves. Subscribe if you're done being passive. Watch the next episode if you're not afraid of hard truths. And remember, ideas are weapons. Learn how to carry them.